Hello, Blake. Hi, Blake
Hello,
Walley.
bud.
How are you on this wonderful Thursday, December 14, 2023?
Never been better, Brian. It's a pleasure to be here, as
Isn't it,
always.
though?
Yes.
It's a pleasure to have you here. I don't know I can't change my captions. We're having glitcher missins.
Ooh. Are you streaming on Instagram? Did you get my message?
No, how do you do that? No, what message? Where?
Oh, it's too late now, Brian.
What?
Messed it all up. That was our big opportunity. All right, no. Apparently, Restream is connected to Instagram, but I don't know if it's got to be in portrait mode or not. I don't know if they do these long form videos exactly, but yeah, it is available. But
I did see like a little box with a lady popped up, said something about Instagram, but I was like, get out of here, lady. I'm trying to.
Yep. Shame on you for not looking at your Telegram messages.
Oh, Telegram. Okay. Yeah, we have all these modes of communication. But with the passage of the NDAA, you're being spied on every moment. Maybe we can just give a quick update on that today, because unfortunately, our civil rights are being violated. It's an obvious, egregious Fourth Amendment violation. There's no doubt about it. It's not. There's no gray area. There's no possible way that this could stand. I don't know why there's not a fast track, a diamond lane, as you were, or as you will, or maybe a high occupancy vehicle lane to the Supreme Court. But when things are so stupidly, obviously, egregiously, erroneously put into law, canonized with code and legislation, I mean, there needs to be an immediate smackdown, and there need to be censures of the people involved. I mean, anybody that voted with an NDAA to have a provision that says you can just be illegally spied on without a warrant, without cause. I don't know what world we're living in, Blake. But anyway, I digress. You can follow Blake and all of the stories that he covers. He is at thenextlevelnews.com, and he is on X at he's at TV's Blake Walley. There we go, at TV's Blake Walley. My name is Brian Engelman. This is the Agree to Disagree show on the new American media, because the old American media has friggin' failed you. That's why you're showing up. That's why people are tuning out of the lying legacy linchpins. I don't know. I was looking for that triple L score. But they are a linchpin to like corruption. They're a linchpin to fraud. They're a linchpin to murder and genocide and warfare, the military-industrial complex. They're the linchpin to lying. They're the linchpin to lying. You pull the pin and it separates. Luckily, people have tuned out because we're sick of being lied to. So that's why the new American media exists. And I encourage you to please follow us in these places: Spotify, the Agree to Disagree show; Rumble, the new American media; Telegram, TNAM for the new American media; TNAM and TNAM chat. On X, we're at American_media_. Take a second and just click these and connect with us, please. On Instagram, the new American media. On YouTube, youtube.com/the new American media. And Truth Social, the new American media. Follow us in all of these places. Oh, Signal too. So anyhow, let's get into the stories of the day, Blake. There's a lot on the docket, and we're going to try to cover them. So make sure you leave your comments. Let us know if there's any big stories that you'd like to see us cover that might not be on the list, and we will try to incorporate your comments into our conversation when appropriate. Here we go. Well, Blake, how about that? Before Obama put his movie out, before this other new movie trailer has been released, looky here, looky here. Look what we did with the new American media's new intro with our animated graphic there. It's the upside down flag with the sound of explosions in the not too distant area. You know why? Because this is what they're aiming at. And I've been calling it out for the 13 years that the new American media has been a thing. They want the next conflict to be a conflagration of a civil war, revolutionary war, and world war all wrapped into one. And damn it, if they're not all going along with it, it's like, oh, well, at least the Republicans are going to be against this crap. It's like, what, the same ones that put George W. Bush in, the same ones that nominated Romney and McCain. That GOP. Now the MAGA GOP is very different, which is why they're trying to. Well, aren't some of the charges against Trump wouldn't one of them include the death penalty? I believe they're trying to execute him, if not throw him in jail for the rest of his life, because they want what they want. And it seems like no matter who we vote for, Blake, it just goes back to the same old situation. But yeah, it's in the zeitgeist. The powers that be are programming a civil war for 2024. Do you agree or disagree with that statement, sir?
Yeah, I'm going to agree with that. I think they are, yes, prepared for that. Maybe even suspending the elections if they need to. I think they're terrified of Trump winning and the MAGA patriots, so they're going to do everything they can to demonize us, and they certainly have so far. There's a lot of political prisoners rotting away in a gulag in D.C. for participating in a peaceful protest or walking into a restricted area that they did not know was restricted in the halls of Congress. We're not doing anything wrong. Oh, yeah, a few of them do maybe deserve to be punished to varying degrees, but they were withholding evidence. A lot of them aren't. So, but they're trying to make an example of these people and trying to stage it as this is an insurrection against democracy, the worst thing that ever happened since the Civil War. But they only focus on a few, small videos that were, part of the riots. But anyway, yes, there's a controversial new movie coming out apparently next spring. It's going to be called, it is called Civil War, correct? And that is going to kind of set the tone here as we head into a historic election. Maybe the last election if things don't go well. So it's going to be the ultimate battle. And Brian, I'm looking forward to covering that. Whether it's the, I don't know, whether we get back to being pro-Americana again, or whether we change it into something else, or we have a civil war and collapse of society. It's all on the table. Well, some people think this is predictive programming, this video clip, and I know you've seen it, Brian. Quick, before we run it, what do you think?
Well, I did recently see a video about a black dude getting interviewed in Chicago, about Trump in 2024, and he's like, "We are absolutely," and I don't remember who put the video out and what it was connected to, but it was just like, "We are being replaced in Chicago. They're taking money and resources away from us, the people that live here." Now, this is a black dude, so it's like, "Oh, it's a white Christian." No, just shut up. No, it's just a dude, because we're just dudes that live in the country, and we want to take care of what's here. We don't want to add extra problems to it. And the guy's like, they're taking resources away from us and they're giving them to these illegals, these people that are illegally crossing into our country, flooding the border. They're sleeping at the police station. They're sleeping at the bus station. They're all over our streets. They're getting put up for, fancy hotel rooms. They're getting stipends. They're getting, I don't know, gift cards or prepaid Visa cards, whatever it is. He's like, I don't understand why they're replacing us. And it seems obvious that Americans are being replaced. Not just white Americans, just people, men, women. And it's a plan. It's not like, oh, there's a border crisis down in Texas. No, there's no border crisis. Shut up. Oh, there's a border crisis in Arizona. No, there's not. No, there's not. There is a planned invasion with Obama and his crew pulling the puppet strings through that meat sack, that child-sniffing monster, Joe Biden. And by the way, how glorious is it watching their whole little scheme, as you call it, Blake, get picked apart brick by dirty brick. I know we didn't really cover the Hunter thing on Tuesday, but now Hunter was subpoenaed to go in front of Congress, and then he backed out, so we're waiting to see, is he going to be charged for that? I don't know if that's in the stack or if we had a quick.
No, it wasn't in the stack. It was big news yesterday. He's going to be held in contempt, I believe, of Congress because he was supposed to speak in front of the committee, and then he just made a big speech in front of the Capitol and said, no, he's not going to, and he's not guilty, and his dad did nothing wrong, but he's not going to testify. He's got there was his buddy Eric Swalwell. Yeah.
What about Swalwell?
Fartwell, yeah, he was there next to him. He's advising him. That's another one that's just doomed. It's like, oh my God, really? You couldn't pick anybody like less credible? All right.
Well, I shared something awesome. I know last time I shared Hunter Biden with his with that image from his laptop that the 51 intelligence official deep state liars rigged the 2020 election by claiming that there was no Hunter Biden laptop. Complete election interference by running cover for the Bidens to get Trump out of office and to install a super corrupt, super blackmailable family. 51 intelligence officials, 31, whatever the number is. 51 former heads of the CIA and high-ranking CIA officials just lied to the American people. But there's that picture with Hunter naked. He's in his tighty whities, just like you'd see on the beach. And he's got that scarf wrapped around him. I shared a video today, but I couldn't share it on Facebook because the last time I did, I think they shut my account down for 30 days. They said I was participating in exploitation. This is Meta, the company.
Right. Let's focus. Sometimes I wonder why these shows go 2 or 3 hours. We go into way too much backstory. But yes, I got you. Right.
Meta, Facebook, Instagram. Yeah. They're engaging in all sorts of inappropriate child activity that they're being sued left and right for. But then they had the gall to say to me that I was engaging in adult exploitation because I shared a picture of Hunter shirtless with that scarf wrapped around him. Anyway, I shared something today. It was him giving his speech on wherever he was, Capitol Hill, and it was that body, but it was his regular face. It was hilarious, but I couldn't share it on Facebook. So go on Telegram, TNAM Chat. I shared it in TNAM Chat and TNAM Humor. So follow us there. Otherwise, you should be in the Agree to Disagree group on Facebook. But it was hilarious. But that was yesterday. But yeah, it's all coming apart at the seams, Blake. And I couldn't be happier for it. But where it's also coming apart at the seams is the people have never been more awake to the deep state plan. But you see where they're going to escalate it to. They want a civil war. So if you want to run the trailer, I mean, this is on the heels of what? Just a couple of days ago, Barack Hussein Obama and his spouse, his partner, whatever that person's name is, that person, well, whatever they are, they released that Netflix movie about, what's it called? Not The Day After Tomorrow or 1 Second After, or after the world ends, right? The time after
people preparing for something to happen.
Land Before Time. Who cares? I'm not interested in watching their bullshit propaganda, but 2 of these in a week. All right. So if you want to pull up and run this trailer just to kind of get a flavor for what is on board, I double clicked the thing. Oh, you clicked it. And then okay.
Yeah. All right. Here we go. This is our friend Ford Fisher has posted this out. I didn't say anything about the predictive programming, but that's what some people are saying. There's a concept in horror film history. You can see what people were afraid of in time by watching their contemporary scary movies. America won't look like this in 2024, but it may well feel the closest it's ever been. So let's check this out.
19 states have seceded. The United States Army ramps.
I would, just rewind it real quick to the very beginning.
This is the beginning.
I would say, yeah, but I talked over the first 3 seconds. I would say maybe I'm a little less optimistic than Mr. Ford Fisher there. There's no way that I could possibly claim that the world's not going to look like this in 2024. We never thought COVID would do what COVID did with the lockdowns, the shutdowns, forced vaccinations, all sorts of, you have to close your business, you can't travel. It got civil war during that. Like that was martial law. That was martial law, except for the name in the official declaration. That was their test run. So I'm in no way as confident as Ford is that this is not happening next year. It could absolutely happen next year, but I just want to make that point.
Yeah, okay. They could suspend the elections in 2024. We might not get them. We might be, yes. Civil war is absolutely on the table, whether it's this year or right after, if people do not accept the results for whatever reason. So it's getting pretty heated. All right, but we'll run this and we'll just stop whenever and make commentary. I think it's the same producer or director from like 28 Days Later and Ex Machina, like some pretty high profile movies. So it should be it's going to be this big summer blockbuster next year.
What's that director's name?
I don't know offhand. You tell me. Maybe it'll be in this. Well, it'll probably be in this clip.
Okay.
We'll check it out.
Activity. The White House issued warnings to the Western forces as well as the Florida Alliance.
The three-term president assures the uprising will be dealt with swiftly. Let me know if you want to try anything on.
Are you guys aware there's like a pretty huge civil war going on all across America?
We just try to stay out with what we see on the news. Seems like it's for the best.
That's the majority of your people right there. I just have no idea what's going on and just blissfully ignorant. And that's part of the reason that we get into these, that we're at this point, is because a lot of people are not as involved as they should be.
And I think I talked over the beginning that I was trying to get you to rewind it those 3 seconds because it says 19 states have seceded from the Union. That was the very initial first 2 seconds. I wanted you to play that, but that's very important to kind of set up where we are in this dystopian future that it seems like they have planned for us now that they have an invading army north of 10 million here ready to activate it at the drop of a hat since they're being funded, and they'll have our addresses. They'll know how to find us. We have our cell phones on us. They know exactly where we are at all times. They know where we live. They know our IP address. And
we sleep, right?
So anyway, 19 states have seceded at this point. You can continue.
Citizens of America, the so-called Western forces of Texas and California.
There we go, Alex Garland.
Suffered a very great defeat.
How do I pause it there? 2 points. Number one, I would watch anything that he's in. What's his name? Ron Swanson. What's the actor's name? The president.
Yeah.
Ron Swanson from Parks and Rec.
Yeah, I know the show, but I don't know his name. I don't know anything else he's been in. Right.
But I will say he is a hardcore crazy lefty, unfortunately. He plays a great right winger, kind of like how Colbert did. He played a great Bill O'Reilly impression, but like turns out it was just because he hated him. He was great in that role, and it's like, you're actually really good. Like, you're making great points. Kind of like the Archie Bunker thing. It's like, yeah, he's crazy sometimes, but he makes a lot of sense, and they were just trying to make fun of him. It's like, you're not really making fun of him. You're proving a lot of his points to be accurate. In between the times he's obviously wrong. But anyway, Ron Swanson.
Great defeat at the hands of the United States military.
Mr. President, do you regret the use of airstrikes against American citizens?
They're moving to D.C. today.
You need to go down there.
They shoot journalists on sight in the Capitol. Every instinct in me says this is death. Flooded.
All right, a couple of points. Number one, the actor's name is Nick Offerman. Point number two.
Is that important? All right, go ahead.
Point number two, there was that line in there where they were bombing, and he's being asked by a reporter, do you regret bombing, how did he phrase it? Bombing American citizens? That was pretty much the same thing you're saying about Gaza and Israel. It's like, saying that they shouldn't be.
Yeah, Brian doesn't think they're actually humans and that there are no innocent Palestinians and they deserve to be bombed and all their children to be blown apart because they voted for Hamas.
Oh, by the way, that's a nice Jesus Saves logo right there on the top. In all of these movies, there's going to be little Easter eggs, very intentionally placed. But and then the third, I saw somebody saying that you can't go there. They target journalists there. And the meme that I was watching, I scrolled past and it was one of the guys going, stop, I can only get so erect. But that's unfortunately because the media has become an enemy to the people with all of their lying and manipulation and the people they're framing and just the coercion tactics that they're using. So a lot of points in that 5 seconds there.
Okay. All right. Well,
They're moving to D.C. today.
You need to go down there.
They shoot journalists on sight in the Capitol. Every instinct in me says this is death. Flooded.
Every time I survived the war zone, I thought I was sending a warning home. Don't do this. But here we are.
There's some kind of misunderstanding here. What? Well, you're American, okay?
And just rewind it a couple of seconds there, so we can get that whole scene coming up. But she said every time I survived a war zone and sending this information, these photos and videos back, I thought it was sending a warning. And that's just reminiscent of that very popular phrase that's come up since Snowden, since Obama's first term into his second term when things started getting incredibly wonky. And of course they were after 9/11 as well. But, George Orwell's 1984 was supposed to be a warning, not an instruction manual. So in that line of dialogue there, they're really kind of taking the essence of that thought that we've been screaming for at least a decade and a half, if not 2 decades now. This was supposed to be a warning. How the hell are we still in this spot? But anyway.
All right.
Every time I survived a war zone, I thought I was sending a warning home. Don't do this.
No, people aren't watching or paying attention. And then we have the trans soldier here with his pretty fingernails.
Oh, look at that. I didn't catch that. Interesting. By the way, one more point from earlier I forgot to mention. In what universe are Texas and California on the same side of a conflict?
I don't know if necessarily are. I mean, there could be, like, California, like the actual like mainland of mostly California could be a lot of more aligned with classic Americana and Texas, but not necessarily, of course, LA or San Francisco or a lot of the other big liberal cities. So,
and if you think about it, if you were engaged in warfare, we were talking about military strategy on the last episode. Like, are they indiscriminately bombing, or the carpet, or is there a pattern and a reason to it?
Nope.
My contention is that there's always a targeted plan. They're war rooms. You have missions that you're running, and if you were to attack the United States, and if you were going after the blue, well, it's the top 20 cities in the country, the biggest, densest areas where it's the easiest to cheat in the elections, by the way, maybe not coincidentally. However, if you were trying to target our country and go after the people in the blue, you just hit the top 20 cities. Then the rest of the country's red. All of America's red, save for the top 20, 30 cities. Other than that, those major, easily droppable population centers. If I were a bad guy and I wanted to go after blue cities, I mean, that's 25 neutron bombs. All right, those are 25 Moabs. You know exactly where to drop them in San Francisco, Los Angeles, Houston. Yeah, I mean, you're going to be smoldering, but whatever's left in those big cities of Texas and California, the rest of the country is all red. Take away the Manhattan, the big cities. But I didn't catch that. The Easter egg fingernails and the neon green hair. Very, very cute. Are you on mute? I can't hear you.
Okay, let's move on.
But here we are.
There's some kind of misunderstanding here. What? Well, you're American, okay?
Okay. What kind of American are you?
That's terrifying, but he makes a good point. Yeah, what kind of American? Definitely divided more than we are united these days.
You don't know?
The Western forces will reach the White House on July 4th.
Oh my God.
Get in the car! Get in the car!
Move, move, move!
You're gonna hang back.
I'm not hanging back.
One nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Go, 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 go!
God bless America.
I haven't seen a movie in a while at the theater, but I'm gonna definitely have to see that one. That's pretty epic. Whether I'm gonna agree or disagree or anything, this is too important to our culture, and it's sad that it's gotten this far. I never would have thought America would ever fall like this, but it's been happening. We've been watching it unfold for a number of years. Really, probably mostly in the last since the 21st century. So
yeah, there was that text on the screen, "Empires Fall." I mean, that's exactly the Barack Hussein Obama playbook. It
started with Bush. It was definitely the election, 9/11, the awful. That set the tone. That set the table for Obama to take over.
We are 5 days away from fundamentally transforming the United States of America.
Yeah, but Brian, what would have happened if John McCain would have won in 2008? You think we would have been better off? Could have been just hardcore fascism like we've never seen before too.
Oh, I don't
with
think
the
we've been
Patriot Act,
direction.
war. Right. So
Liz Cheney, Mitt Romney, John McCain, George W. Bush.
yep.
Go down the list of characters. John
They
Kerry.
were so evil. People couldn't wait to vote Democrat again, and they embraced Obama and didn't realize how radical he was. And then after 8 years of Obama, he didn't recognize the country anymore. He brought back Trump, and all of a sudden, he made him out to be a compromised Russian spy. It's ridiculous.
And those people, it's like, okay, what kind of American are you? Are you the ones that went along with lynching the president of the United States, framing him for stuff that never happened, tanking his political career, trying to throw him in jail and subject him to the death penalty, trying to ruin his re-election campaign with lawfare? The damn near green lighting the assassination attempts at this point. Like, what kind of American are you? I see the
that's
Trump,
what I want to see. Yeah, that's what I'd have to ask too.
Type supporters being one type of person, and that's not to say Trump is perfect or that the Trump supporters are perfect, but it seems to be that they want this to be a strong, independent nation that can, do things, build things, and handle things here, and make our country strong. The rest of these people that have been installed in these positions of power, they have no soul. They have no skin in the game. They don't care. They don't represent people from here. They're bought and paid for. They're bribed and blackmailed. They've been to the island. They've taken the bribes. They're on camera. They're on video. Like, there's no way they're going to go against the system. What type of American are you? It's like Trump and everybody else, and that is crazy. But it's never been more obvious that the mainstream, I'm not going to use that word, that the legacy Democrats and the legacy Republicans, they are actively working as the enemy of the American people, along with the media, the liars in the media. In the Nuremberg trials in World War II, it was like, you couldn't just claim I was following orders. Or like media, you're like, I don't know, I was just reporting what I was told to report. It's like, you were complicit. You were involved in the coup. You were involved in the overthrow. You were involved in this chaos. So many people have blood on their hands, metaphorically, until it goes literal. What kind of American are you? That is a great line. That is a great scene. It's piqued my interest, Blake. But you know what? The good thing about all this crap, I've been saying this for way more than 13 years, but you go back to the beginning of the New American Media in 2011. Please do. Cool. A lot of cool content over that time, but I've been warning about this for more than a decade now. And more than once, I've been deemed a little out there, a little kooky, a little paranoid. No, I'm not. I just see what's coming, and I'm trying to tell you. So I'm happy the zeitgeist that this is out there in a non-fringe way. It is so in your face at this point. You'd have to be fringe to pretend it's not there.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I would agree.
All right. Well,
there was like the lady in that beginning of that video, like, oh, I don't know, is the Civil War going on? Yeah, I don't really want to watch the news or get involved, So it just becomes impossible. So,
but then again, during the Civil War, the Revolutionary War, only took 3%. It only took the 3% of active, engaged people that were participating. The rest were trying to stay on the sidelines. There were a lot of people that did not want to get involved, and you'll find a lot of that. But when it starts coming at you from every different direction, and you don't know who's good and you don't know who's bad, it's going to be hard to sit on the sidelines. Let me tell you. You pulled up another one. Is there another point you want to make on this movie?
No, you were talking about the you want an update on the FISA NDAA thing. I'll just pull up a couple tweets from Anomaly here, where he was kind of disappointed in Ted Cruz here, voted to extend the FISA warrantless spying program. Ted Cruz suggested jabbed people should be allowed. Well, we're getting in the weeds here, but point is, it's sad to see Ted Cruz go along with the NDAA and the FISA. And then we've got Drano here saying, is there 147 Republicans just voted to reauthorize FISA 702 that was used to illegally spy on President Trump. Their voters deserve answers. I agree. GOP giving the Stasi everything it wanted from Cernovich here, spying on conservatives, Catholics, and everyone else will continue. So yeah, business as usual. It's us or them. It's the ruling class against the peasants. So anyway, that's the update there.
All right. Well, we got to figure out who are the big names that voted against it on the Republican side. Who needs to be like? What is the reasoning? For what reason did they give? This is blatantly unconstitutional. They don't have the authority to do what they just did.
Right. Yeah, they should wait and have that part removed and then re-vote on it. But yeah, they shove this stuff into these giant bills. So they didn't make a fuss, even though they knew about it. They should have been well understood by then. There was an uproar on Twitter and from some very vocal people, probably Thomas Massey and others, that said, to warn us about this, but it didn't stop them. So, here we go. This is one of those things leading up to the Civil War. They're going to be, spying on Americans again. That's going to be guys like you and I, Brian. That's going to be just regular, make America great again, patriots, just want our country back. Not all this, this woke garbage globalism. But we're the enemy now.
All right.
Go figure.
Okay. All right then. Well, we'll unpack that a little bit more as we find out when it's kind of breaking. So
okay,
we will discuss that more later. All right, next topic. These are all kind of connected here. These top few. All right. So on the heels of this predictive programming for Civil War in 2024, agree or disagree, Blake, that mail-in balloting must be banned after admitted abuse in 2020?
Yeah, I think I'm going to have to agree with that, because now it's well known this was potentially used to swing the results of 2020. There was the 2,000 mules. And now we have this shock poll. You sent me this. It's on Jesse Waters' show last night. It's from Chuck Callesto's sharing this, revealing the massive voter fraud. Quick clip.
Finds that a new Heartland Rasmussen poll finds that 17% of people admit they voted in a state where they don't live. 21% admitted they filled out someone else's ballot. And 8% admitted they were offered money to vote.
Yeah, so that would be a shock poll. People from out of state voting where they don't live and filling out other people's ballots, because a lot of people are indifferent. Again, we bring up the lady from the preview in that movie. Yes, she doesn't care. She could have been one. Yeah, I don't care. You can take the ballot. I don't care who you vote for. It doesn't matter to me. And some people were actually bribed. We saw that. That was, I think, James O'Keefe even revealed that was happening in Minneapolis. So this is going on, and part of it is because they are terrified, of course, of Trump getting back into power. 14-point swing provides a 10-point advantage. So voters over the past month have swung. So even with all of the, all the smears against Trump and, putting him in court, 3 different states, raiding his Mar-a-Lago home, all of the things about him, and yet he is still way out, over 10 points ahead, even on Rasmussen. Trump now leads Biden. So that's terrifying the establishment. They will want to put him in jail, do anything they can, but he's just getting more and more popular, especially as things continue to get worse here in America, leading to a potential civil war in 2024. So they're going to pull out all the stops. Yeah. So I will leave that there. Brian, what do you think?
Okay, what I think is there's no way it could even be remotely close. 14 points. Who is on the side of these clowns? Who in the world is actually on the side of all of this madness?
We don't know. It's 81 million, supposedly, allegedly.
It doesn't pass the Joe Biden sniff test. It doesn't pass the Joe Biden sniff test. It just doesn't. I don't know what else to say about it. Oh, look, Trump's ahead. Well, of course he's always been like. We got to play this game where it's a close race. Oh, he's pulling slightly ahead. Pulling slightly ahead. Holy shit! We've seen for 3 years the vast difference. Afghanistan, Israel, Ukraine, the southern border. For fuck's sake! I mean, in rampant inflation, the planned invasion. Oh, he's starting to pull ahead a little bit. Oh, he's pulling ahead a little bit. Oh, okay, yeah, it's probably pretty close. Oh, it's a 14. Oh, 14, not 100%. Okay. I mean, what, 20% of people could be? Okay, maybe 20%. Shouldn't that be a 70 or 80 point swing? This should be all 50 states. I couldn't imagine. And it's so important for people to realize this. When they throw Biden out, because there's no way he's going to be the nominee. I don't even remotely consider that at all. When they do the switcheroo, when they do the Gerald Ford thing to get Gavin Newsom in it, a vice president or something, it's not about Joe Biden. When you finally take his crime family down for all the bribery, all the corruption, look, Kamala Harris and Joe Biden should have been impeached for dereliction of duty at the southern border a long time ago. This is 3 years of this stuff. But when he's replaced with Newsom, Barack Hussein Obama's spouse, or Oprah Winfrey, or The Rock, or I don't know, go down the short bus candidates that they're going to try to trot out there. This is the Democrat Party and what they stand for. I don't know how anybody could back that party, Blake. I just don't get it.
Well, they're insulated. They're in one bubble.
Party either. But Trump isn't a Republican Party member. He's hated by his own party. He's got Cheney trying to kill him. He's got Romney trying to kill him. He's got that whole party apparatus trying to kneecap him. And that dirty little Ron DeSantis. I don't know what goes behind. I don't know what goes. I'm going to try to pay off a stripper. Vote for me, clown shoes. Like, he's in on it. He used to be like America's governor. You're like, wow, heir apparent. This he's doing a lot of good things down there. You're like, oh shit, he's part of the deep state. He's buying in. He's on board with framing and killing Trump. I can't ever support someone that's going to jump on that train, because as quick as he'll turn on him, he'll turn on you. He's already turned in my book. So there's never been a more obvious choice for who the president has to be in the upcoming election. It's never been this obvious before. I don't know.
No, well, people are insulated and they believe the media, and they thought Trump was the most evil thing ever, the worst thing since you know who, and the Führer. I can't even say it. We're going to get kicked off of Facebook, even though
so stupid.
Right. Anywho. But yes, in order to prevent another January 6th, you got the FBI is saying that Trump supporters must be treated like terrorists. So that's what they do. They are terrified. And so, they're going to turn all of these three-letter agencies against their political enemies. And if they have to bring in, millions of military-aged men over the border, they will do that. Who knows? I don't know what's going to happen, but it's going to be it's going to be an epic year, 2024, for better or for worse. And I'm looking forward to covering it. So it's going to be the ultimate battle, and we'll see we'll see what happens if there is even an election, and if it's fair, and if it's not contested, and if it can go and everybody accepts the results, and we can build the country and work together as the United States, not the divided states. But we'll see we'll see what happens. Anyway, that's what happens. What else do we want to
this is on the heels of several different elections being overturned because of corruption, because of cheating. I don't know if you had anything on that, or if you remember because they're starting to pile up now. I think there were 4 in the past month where they've caught rampant abuse where they've had to throw the election out because it was rigged. It's various places across the country. I'm starting to they're all blurring together for me.
Yeah, there's a few on a local level that have been disputed and changed, and but not with 2020. I don't know if that's ever going to happen. Probably not. So we'll pretty much forget about that one. But at least going forward, maybe we can make some difference, and there's going to be more security and make sure that we have valid votes and not just people harvesting ballots or manufacturing them.
That has to all stop.
People don't sell their ballots.
Mail-in ballot. I mean, a mail-in ballot should be for military. Otherwise, get your ass to the poll. I don't know how anyone other than a cheater has gone along with something so rife with the opportunity for fraud. I mean, if I were a bad guy, I'd absolutely abuse that system. I would set up organizations all across the country to harvest and manipulate that. Hands down. If I were a bad guy, oh my God, I would have the lists of all the people who haven't voted in a long time, unlikely to vote. I would break them down into all these categories. I would say, okay, so these are the people who are 70 or more years old. They haven't voted in the last 4 elections. Blake, if you haven't voted in the last 4 elections, you're either brain dead or you don't give a flying fort about it. Okay?
Yep. No, they've found every way to take an advantage, whether they're
you would mandate sending those out to people, but you'd never send them out. You would send them to a warehouse and you would fill in 100% of your candidates and you would slip them back into the mail. And who would know, especially when you're not doing a signature verification. So we don't have a country if we don't stop this stuff. But
I agree. We don't.
Time and time again over the past few weeks, we've seen elections get thrown out for fraud. So, don't come at me with like, oh yeah, it was the most safe and secure. Shut up. Time couldn't stop patting themselves on the back about how they fortified the 2020 election. They were the character in Wag the Dog that just had to take the credit. I want the credit. I want the credit. Well, you can never tell this story. I know I can't tell it now, but when I can tell it, oh no, you can never tell this story. I want the credit. Read the Time magazine article about fortifying the election. They lay out exactly how they stole it. Exactly. And that's only what they were doing. There were other things happening as well. So I don't know, man.
Yeah, and then there was retaliation, and then people were upset. They contested it up in D.C. They thought something that the electors would be overturned or what have you. There was, I don't know, I feel like 1 million people that showed up in D.C. Hoping that they could change the results. It didn't happen, and a lot of those people were thrown into the D.C. gulag. And yes, being held as political prisoners, and they withheld the evidence. But so that's still going on, and they're trying to raise some money here for Chris. Good to see that Patrick Byrne, great patriot, is pledging $500,000 match to the January 6th legal fund. We'll want to go donate to that, j6legal.org. I just threw in $50. I really hope these guys get out. They deserve it. It's been too long. And but yes, this is their big plot to demonize their political enemies. So just like this, now the FBI is going to be working against us, and now that FISA or that whole 702 NDAA, who knows what they'll be doing behind the scenes to spy on all of the MAGA and the good patriots of this country to prevent Trump from taking office and slamming the door on some of these bad acts. Speaking of which, why don't we just, speaking of bad actors in the deep state, let's take a look at Abby Phillip of CNN. And this is the kind of stuff, this is the kind of disingenuous stuff that they pull to manipulate their audience into thinking that everything's good, when really things are not. So let's listen to Vivek Ramaswamy talk about January 6th and how they are framing up supporters and what they did with Gretchen Whitmer up in Michigan to go after Trump supporters, patriots.
There is no evidence that there were federal agents in the crowd on January 6th.
So why, before Congress, when pressed on what the number was, they didn't say there were none? They just couldn't say how many
you're
there were.
saying.
So watch her just continually interrupts. Like, you're asking a question, and then when you don't get the answer you want, you're going to just continually interrupt Vivek. So this was really an awkward interview here.
That that you have not seen any evidence.
So
that
we've seen multiple.
and so
we've seen multiple informants suggesting that they were. We know people were FBI informants who were asked.
Is there any evidence?
May I just finish this, and you can come back and question me?
May he finish the fucking question, lady?
Clarify.
I know it's very uncomfortable for you.
I'm going to clarify my question.
It is
an uncomfortable issue for many people, but we have to do the truth here.
I'm going to clarify.
She's got to represent her network, and she's got to, make it look like he's a crazy kook in front of their stupid audience. This is why people vote for Biden.
My question, because I want to make sure that you understand what I'm asking.
I understand this deeply. I told you I was there 3 years ago. I'm not there now.
Where is the evidence?
Yes.
Where is the evidence that the government had a plot, an inside job?
But no, I'm going to tell you what an inside job is, because I'm not
violence on January 6th.
I'm not going to let you put words in my mouth. I'm going to put my words in my mouth. And I'm going to tell you what I mean by that.
Where is the evidence that the government was involved in planning or executing January 6th?
So I'm going to give you hard facts. And if I may, Abby, I know this is going to be a little uncomfortable, but we're going to go through this, and you can push back on it after that. And you can push back on that. And let's do this fairly. Why did they suppress footage of now what's been released, 200 hours of footage of shooting rubber bullets into that crowd, shooting tear gas into that crowd? You didn't see that before. You saw what the response was to that. Now you see footage coming out of actually rolling out the red carpet for Capitol Police allowing
Ramaswamy.
people
Shut up, Abby.
Again,
right through the front
door. The vast majority of the footage
evidence should have been released before, Abby.
Mr. Ramaswamy, the vast majority of the footage shows police officers being overrun
and I want to talk about one more
by
case.
violent
this is really important.
riders. That's
I'm going to give you some hard facts.
Of it shows.
So what here?
They cannot handle the truth on CNN. They can't. It's so disgusting. But this is why so many Americans are misinformed about things. This is how the lying legacy media, or what's left of them.
This is what entrapment is.
Cherry pick.
I'm not cherry picking. If I may finish, Abby. If I may finish, Abby. I'm not cherry picking.
Examples.
To the contrary. To the contrary. You know who cherry picked examples? You know who cherry picked? The government.
That is what happened.
The government cherry picked 12 hours of footage when there was 200 hours of footage. The cherry picking was the government, not me. Release the whole thing. And let me just finish one thing too, because this is super important as a topic.
So
I think there's a civil libertarian issue.
Shut up, Abby. She's supposed to be asking questions, and she cannot.
When we're talking
kidnapping, I want to be really clear on this, because it's the same issue in the same FBI, same even part of the FBI. 3 people who were in an alleged plot to kidnap Gretchen Whitmer were acquitted at the end of trial because it was entrapment. That is, government agents put them up to do something they otherwise wouldn't have done. They gave them credit cards with spending limits of up to $5,000, encouraged them to buy munitions, plan something they weren't otherwise willing to plan. So much so, and I want people at home to know this, especially CNN viewers to know this, is that one of the jurors went to those defendants and apologized afterwards, gave him a hug, apologized, seeing what the government had put a poor guy up to who had to go to some Mexican restaurant across the street to get hot water. These people were exploited with credit cards up to $5,000, FBI agents putting them up to a kidnapping plot that we were told was true but was entrapment. Same thing with the Capitol Police, people letting them in freely. Many of those people then being charged.
Look,
the government cannot put you up to do something and then charge you for it. That's wrong.
I don't want to have
Look at he's getting clapping. He's winning the audience, and she's got to come off. But I mean, that is just unconscionable that the FBI could be weaponized to that extent. This was all a ploy to, target, patriots and to demonize them and the Trump supporters. And so the American public watches, and they're going to go, "Oh my God, can you believe these crazy Trump supporters would actually kidnap a governor of Michigan?" So it's really sickening. And it turns out that it was all, staged by the FBI. So, I mean, there should have been multiple people from the FBI that should have been, that should be in the gulag up there in DC, not these actual patriots that are there. So, but we have a two-tier justice.
President Trump on multiple occasions called for the National Guard to be there. That was turned down by the head of the Capitol Security, by Nancy Pelosi, by Mayor Bowser. This was a setup. It was all a setup. And it's never been more obvious. It was very confusing at the time. Very confusing. But yeah, well, I give Vivek a lot of credit. You know, he's got the spooks coming up to him, warning him that he needs his own security. I give him credit for going on with Anomaly, and he for 25 minutes or something, he hit him with some serious questions, allegations, pushback, and he stood his ground. He just kept giving answers, whether you believe his answers or not. That's another thing. But I mean, he didn't run away from someone that was like, "Oh, I'm not going to talk to somebody that asks me tough questions." It's like, no, I'm going to stand here and I'm going to talk over you. I'm going to let you run out of steam, and I'm going to keep pushing my point, and I will answer. I think the biggest concern with President Trump is when they try to kill him, or when they do kill him, they being the bad guys, who's on deck? Who else is on Team MAGA? You can't go to DeSantis or Haley. Chris Christie. They're turncoats. They're deep state rhinos. Rhinos are the same as deep state Democrats. You want any bit of a change? Good luck in that party. Oh yeah, we want Mike Pence and Mitt Romney and John McCain. That'll give us a big difference from Hillary Clinton and John Kerry and Barack Hussein Obama and Joe Biden. It's like, it's the same person. It's all the same person. They're all in the same clubs. They're all blackmailed and controlled the same way. We don't want that. We want this nation to succeed and thrive. We want to have our freedoms and our civil liberties upheld. It's not rocket science. But, is Vivek on the short list of people in the bullpen? Who's the starting 5 pitchers on this team? Well, it's MAGA. You got Trump at number 1. Who are the 2, 3, 4, 5 pitchers, Blake? Is Vivek, has he worked his way into the starting rotation?
I think so. I like it. So even if it's number 5, but I think he deserves a higher spot than that.
Is there anybody else you put into that starting rotation with 3 other slots? Is there anybody else you like in the field on the GOP side? Like on
that are actually like political candidates?
Yeah, political candidates.
Tucker Carlson. Okay, so who else? Carrie Lake.
Okay, Carrie Lake. Okay.
Who else?
Yeah, she could be in the top 5.
I'm not so much sure on Boebert or Marjorie Taylor Greene or Ted Cruz. We definitely want Rand Paul. So we got Rand Paul, Ramaswamy,
Thomas Massey.
Thomas Massey. Okay, that's a good one. Yeah, it's a great one.
But I would almost take them out and call them relief pitchers because they're already comfortable in Congress. Carrie Lake's a free agent. She's looking to sign with another team. We already have Massey in the bullpen. We have Rand Paul in the bullpen. They all have a position already. Now, if a starting pitcher gets injured or if they kill Trump, and I hate to keep saying this, I don't want to speak it into existence, but it's so obvious what they're going to try to do. But they're already doing something. Carrie Lake is the perfect person to put out there because she doesn't have a job right now. I guess she's going for Senate. Is Tulsi Gabbard someone you'd consider, or is she too close with the World Economic Forum? She jumped over to the GOP side. She's on Fox News, which is disturbing because that channel sucks. They're damn near as bad as CNN since they started hating Trump and going against the core principles of what the libertarian/conservative wing, the non-rhino in that party. But is Tulsi Gabbard someone to consider? She's a free agent.
Better than most. She's got her issues. Probably some things I would want to, figure out with her. So she's not 100%, but I have historically liked her mostly. So we'll see.
Anybody else we can think of before we jump to the next topic? Anybody else on the GOP side in the Trump bullpen and the Trump starting rotation? Or your 2024 mega
not
team?
On the spot. That's the short list off the top of my head for sure.
That's a short list. We need more. Okay, next topic.
So we'll get it to Tucker one, right?
Yes, and jumping to the Tucker one, I mean, a lot of the best voices in the United States, are, the best global voices for freedom in America, for liberty, for common sense, for policy. These are people in the media. These are talking heads that they're not politicians. They never have been. They could be drafted to come in and join the team. You heard reports last week, I believe it was last week, that whether they can be believed or not, that Melania is floating the idea that she would love to see Tucker Carlson come in as Trump's VP. Now, I don't know if there's any rhyme or reason to that per se, but a lot of the best voices are in entertainment. They're not in the government apparatus. So agree or disagree, Blake, Tucker Carlson should host a GOP debate with Joe Rogan and Elon Musk.
Well, I do agree with this, and I think this would be a good challenge to see who are the good ones, or who's in the bullpen, or who's the starting five. Absolutely, that's a good way to find out. The thing is, I don't see a lot of people participating in it. There's no way Nikki Haley or Chris Christie are going to go on the stage, or Mike Pence, or any of these.
Wait,
these
they wouldn't. You don't
rhino
think they would
sellout
go on
neocons.
stage? You don't think they would go on stage? They're attention whores. Of course they'd go.
No way. You think Nikki Haley and Chris Christie would go on? If it was Tucker Carlson and he wanted to host a debate and Joe Rogan and Elon Musk were asking the questions, do you really think Nikki Haley and Chris Christie would have the balls to go on stage?
I do.
Okay.
They're attention whores. They're only doing this to raise their national brand. I don't know what Christie thinks he's getting out of this, but he's looking worse the more he talks. I don't know what. I mean, Haley thinks if they kill Trump, that she'll be sitting there. I guess that's what Ron DeSantis has been promised. Like, hey, we're going to throw this animal in a cage, so don't worry about him. Just run a close second. We're going to kneecap the guy who's running way out in front. By the time you make it around the bend, we'll drag him off the racetrack, and we'll just install you. So just ride it out. Of course he'd participate. He thinks he's going to be beloved. He thinks he's the best option because Trump is such a loser or something. Yeah, I think they would absolutely get in the debate. And if they don't have the balls to, I think that speaks on them. That would be the number one rated thing you'd see all year. I mean, if you the number one goal in the debates is to get name recognition, and hopefully in a positive way. I think they'd participate. I think they'd have to. I think they'd be forced to. A debate hosted by Tucker with Rogan and Musk, that would be what, Blake? 20x the highest rated JV debate that we've seen? 50x?
Yeah, it would be. But
streamed on all their networks in real time. Completely.
I think they would just miss it as like everybody's kooky or something. I don't think they would try to. And I know they would have to deal with some tough positions. I mean, Megyn Kelly gave Chris Christie a hard time. That was great. And he deserved every word of it.
He earned it, yeah.
If it was
like you see with Vivek, though, like he goes into the viper's nest. Like,
he would, of course.
He goes
Nikki Haley, do you think her and her supporters? No, I don't think Nikki's donors would even want her to go on there. They wouldn't want to give it any credibility. And they know that she was in danger of being, thrown curveballs by, Tucker, Rogan, and Elon. And she wouldn't do it.
I will say that there is, iron sharpening iron, that whole concept, Blake. I wish we lived in a world where it would make sense for Donald Trump to join in the debate. I think he does have some serious questions to answer about the vax rollout, about all sorts of stuff. I would like to see him in the debates, but in a rigged GOP primary where they're only doing it thinking that he's going to get kneecapped, it's like, I'm going to take my ball and go. It's not I'm going to take my basketball and go home. I'm going to dig up the court and I'm going to have some flatbeds, remove the court and drive it to my Mar-a-Lago, and I'm going to install the court on my property, and I'm going to set the game up here, and I'm going to build some big, beautiful stands and set up some big, beautiful lights, and I'm going to bring the game to my house. Like, Trump has done that, and I think I think it's the right move. But I would like to see him in a debate because he screwed up with Biden last time. Now, obviously, I think he still won in a blowout and won all 50 states. If you're allowed to believe in any version of an afterlife or a God, I'm allowed to believe that there's no way what happened in 2020 was legit. So that being said, if you want to see any countervailing views, go to CISA.gov/rumor control regarding elections, because they are convinced that it was the most safe and secure election in all history. But I would love to see Trump sharpen up because he did make mistakes against Biden. He steamrolled him every time, to the point where it was like, just hand him the rope and let him fumble along with it. He's going to trip and fall down the stairs with it. Let him do to himself what he's going to just make him talk. But Trump just kind of kept doing this domineering thing, and it didn't work. I didn't like it. It wasn't his best performance. It didn't cost him the election. I think for reasons. I think there are plenty of reasons. But I would like to see Trump in a legitimate debate. I would like to see Trump against Vivek. How would Vivek handle that? Would he be kissing the boot as he was framing it? You're bending down and kissing the boot when you want his support, but then you turn on him when it's convenient. I would love to see the dynamic of those two go at each other. That would be very.
Yeah, I would, but for Trump, I think he's got nothing to gain and everything to lose. So I think he would prefer to just stay out of it. He's way ahead, so he has no reason to.
You're right.
So.
I can't disagree with that. You lost your background. Was that intentional?
Yeah, I'm gonna reboot real quick, and you can.
Okay, I will. Blake took off in the middle of that sentence. Make sure you're following Blake at TV's Blake Walley on X and thenextlevelnews.com. Make sure we need people on our podcast, slowly but surely gaining viewers and listeners there. But on Spotify, can't figure out how to get on Apple. I will try to do that. Keep doing that. But it's the Agree to Disagree show on Spotify, on Rumble, the New American Media, on X at American_Media_, on Facebook at TNAM's The Agree to Disagree show, on Instagram, The New American Media, on YouTube.com/The New American Media. Find us in all those places, please. And I already plugged you, Blake, so you are plugged, sir.
Thank you, Brian. All right. Well, we covered that topic. Let's. I'm back. Background's back. Seems like everything's there's a lot of weird, glitchy stuff's going on. So
they passed the NDAA. Now they're up in
our they got who knows how they're doing all kinds of dirty tricks behind the scenes. I'm not saying they just got rid of my background, but I just continually feel like I'm always being sabotaged somewhere. But nothing I can do about it. I'm not a big enough voice, and I can't seem to get off the ground high enough to make anybody care. So whatever, just gonna roll with it. I'm just gonna continue to speak my truths. Someone's gonna hear it, I hope, and hopefully someday I'll get some kind of a career breakthrough or opportunity, or maybe some of these big voices will eventually have mercy on me and try to, and you, Brian, and maybe try to help us out a little bit. But we'll get there. Next year is everything on the line. So we're gonna
literally, figuratively,
keep doing it. Yeah.
Yes, sir. All right, next topic. All right, Blake, in the never-ending saga of Mike Johnson is disappointing us, you agree or disagree that Western leaders need to step up and give more cash to Ukraine?
Nope. Disagree. It's done. It's over. They had their chance. They gave them all the money and funding and everything they could without actually putting American troops on the ground or NATO to get involved with Russia. But they have gone through all of that cash. It never ends. There's no accountability. And they're running out of troops. So Ukraine is now raising the age of the military men. It's going to be over 40. So they're going to have a military aged fighting force to try to, take over Donbass or Crimea, places where people there would rather be with Russia, not Ukraine, not under the rule.
Voted instead, and they voted, right?
Yeah.
They're like,
yeah, they voted. They don't want to be part of Ukraine. They don't want to be part of the Zelensky administration. They're tired of that. They haven't been treated well. They'd rather be with Russia. That's their culture. So they look at Putin as a liberator. So it's time. They don't have the resources to run a counteroffensive. But I mean, obviously Zelensky wants to stay in power. He loves all of the the attention and the money and the weaponry, and he's going to try to continue this fight, even though he's clearly losing. And once he falls, he's probably going to be he's going to be exiled. He's going to be destroyed
or executed. Blake, I don't think they're going to keep him around. Him and Biden. I think what happened in the past week, I don't think I had a chance to say this, but I've been thinking about it since the going up on Capitol Hill mixed in with Zelensky. I think both of them are on real thin ice. I think what happened was Biden was told to step down. It's like, hey, this is what we're going to do, and we're going to need you to, this is what we're suggesting. And he's like, no, man. I'm going to, come on, the thing. And they're like, what? He's like, no, I'm going to stay. I think that's when the indictments started coming down on Biden, on Hunter Biden. I think it's like, all right, if you're not going to play ball with us, we know how to get you to play ball. We can ruin you. Don't think we can't ruin you. Don't think you're actually the president, Joe. So I think they're walking this out to ruin his family and take him out. And I think if it continues long enough, I think they may actually exit him stage left in a very public way. And who knows, maybe even frame it on a MAGA person, right? What better way to stoke the fires than to get rid of some old dotard who's in the way, all of his corruption and child sniffing and all of the abuse with Ashley Biden and the shower and Hunter and the degeneracy and kicking his dogs and everything about the guy is just pure trash. And his fake, Walmart skeleton grin and stupid aviator glasses. Like, he is a monster incarnate. So I think they would have no doubt offing him stage left and blaming a MAGA person to spark the 2024 Civil War. And you get rid of him in the process and turn him into a martyr in the process. Nobody likes Joe Biden. There's that comic. Well, I can see Andrew Schultz. He's like, yeah, does anyone in this room like Joe Biden? Silence. He goes, exactly. He goes, you know how I know people like Trump? That dude, he moved merch. He goes, those red hats, those things were gangster. Those were like teardrop tattoos for white people. You'd walk around in public and see someone with a Make America Great Again hat. And it's like, oh, he woke up and chose violence today. But he moves merch. There is no contingency for people that love Joe Biden. There are people who are happy he kept Trump out of office. That's it. So I think that Zelensky and Biden are in the crosshairs of their own deep state that put him in that position. I think the same people that put him there would not blink twice to take him out, especially if you could get rid of Zelensky in a public way to get more global leaders against Russia, or if you get rid of Biden in a public way to get more people supporting, I don't know, Kamala Harris or Gavin Newsom, Blake.
Yeah, we'll see. I think there's maybe a potential false flag attack. Some people are putting that out there. Some way for him to try to, stay in power, and he's out there actually since Congress may be cutting him off from his money with Mike Johnson because he wants more accountability, and he also wants the Democrats to agree to the border security before he's going to give Ukraine any more money. But now he's appealing to the weapons manufacturers. So that was pretty sickening stuff. Zelensky, and he was also in Argentina meeting with Javier Milei. So, but I think it's the end. It's time to concede. Time to just let Russia have those territories of Ukraine and continue to stay out of NATO and be neutral, and then let Ukraine have its own democratic election again. And then Zelensky's going to get voted out, and he could face some kind of criminal charges at some point.
Well, they made him. What was the technical term? They're going to try to put him in like Palm Beach or something now. They're going to try to move him to the United States so that he doesn't get lynched up in, I don't know, Kyiv.
Possibly. Yeah, we'll see how that develops.
No, but you saw that story from last week where like they made him a citizen or gave him some official thing happened where he got U.S. residency rights or citizenship, something.
Yeah, I don't know, but I'm sure they will do something to help him out, so he doesn't have to face justice over there, even though he deserves it. So, all right, Brian, let's what do we got? Move on. Got another. What else we
Next
got?
One,
or did you agree or disagree on? Or does Brian want to talk about the alien lunar Antarctica and all connect to the current times? Maybe.
I don't know about that one, Timothy, but I did watch a movie on that yesterday. The Tomorrow War. I sent a brief clip to Blake and Ford yesterday. There was an alien crash in Russia, and they went in and I won't tell you, but it was actually a cool movie. It was a year ago, I think. It was like a Netflix in coordination with Paramount and somebody else. I think of the same people that were behind the Obama movie, A24, or the one, the Civil War.
Yeah.
One of those. But yeah, it was with Chris Pratt, and it had that dude from Spider-Man. Anyway, but it was good. It was interesting. The concept was there's a war going on in the future, and they jumped back to the current times because we need you to do things now and fight with us now. And then they were jumping between. It was cool. I thought it was a really, really well done movie. But no, my answer, agree or disagree? I disagree. I if we're scared Russia's going to invade all of Europe, stop it. Oh, they blew up their own pipeline. Is this the best lie you can come up with? These are the dumbest things. Is pin the tail on Russia. Oh, it's Russian collusion. Oh, Trump has a Russian P-tape. It's like, can you get over your hard-on to just blow up Russia? Like, they're not attacking us. The Cold War's been gone for 30 years. Can we focus on our country and rebuild here, please? No, we must bomb. We must have enemies. It's like, I hate all of you. So no money for them. Fix our damn border. Anyway, so I would disagree that we need to step up and give them more cash. All right, agree or disagree, Blake? The Church of Satan should have more influence in our government. I mean, it seems like they have complete influence in our government today. I don't know how they could have more, but do you agree that they should have more of an influence? More than 100%?
No, I'm going to disagree there. And it's really bizarre. So I'm sure you've seen this already, Brian. Look, it's a satanic goat skull and pentagram at the Iowa State Capitol.
Double click it for you.
Oh, yeah. Thank you very much.
Gotcha.
I can't see it, so how do I know? Right. So nothing out of the ordinary. A horned goat and skull blood red pentagram for Christmas. And residents of Iowa have expressed disbelief after the governor allowed the satanic Christmas display featuring a Baphomet skull and blood red pentagram to be placed inside the Capitol. So what the heck? What the heck, Brian, or what the hell would be more appropriate? I don't get it. Doesn't seem appropriate to me. I'm not even, a religious conservative Christian, but this is still like blasphemous and disgusting and unprofessional and insulting to the people in Iowa, I would think. But I don't know why you would even want that. Like, it's like that creepy, dark energy. I don't know. Like something I would do as a teenager, just trying to get a rise out of people. But as an adult, like this, I find this pretty offensive and disgusting. And going into another part, I'll just say, is also the Church of Satan getting a green light to host after-school Satan Club for elementary school students, or elementary, according to this article. Misspelling. Move Over Orchestra, Baseball, and Drama Club. A new extracurricular is ready to inspire young minds and enrich our children. The After School Satan Club. The Satanic Temple proved that drag queen story times and general neutral restrooms are the least of the pearl-clutching conservatives' problems, announcing that they would be kicking off 2024 with a brand new after-school program for students at Chimney Rock Elementary School in Memphis, Tennessee. So here he goes. Hey, kids, after-school Satan Club. What kind of a sick person do you have to be? I mean, whatever. I mean, I would seem like people that are involved in the Satanic Temple are really twisted and disturbed individuals, no matter what. You don't have to go with organized religion. I get that, but how do you embrace Satanism? I do not understand. And then stay the fuck away from kids. What the hell? If you want to talk to college students, it's got to be like a certain age, I would think. I mean, I went to Catholic school and I went to public school. In public school, you don't talk about religion, but in Catholic school, there's a religion class that is part of your curriculum, and that's fine. You can keep it separate. I don't care. I've gone to both, but pushing this stuff is beyond bizarre. But I guess we're a fallen civilization, so maybe I'm old-fashioned, Brian. What am I missing there?
I don't know. I'm just trying to figure out who this Kim Reynolds is. She became governor in May of 2017 when Governor Terry Branstad stepped down to become the U.S. ambassador to China. She then won a full term as governor in 2018 and reelected in 2022. She's allegedly a Republican. A Republican, Blake. I mean,
yeah. I mean, it's going to be open-minded and to celebrate different things. If you're going to have a Christmas party or Hanukkah or even Kwanzaa, but Satan, really? Bad. I don't know. Just throw something really evil in there. Everything else seems to be like well-intentioned, and except that one.
Would you? This is inside the state house at the Iowa State
Capitol. Yes, it's like
during Christmas season.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, so during Hanukkah, you want to go inside of a synagogue and wave around a bunch of Nazi flags? Like that's really a thumb in the eye. Like that's really just whipping out your junk and whizzing all over the birthday cake. I mean, that's like looking for a fight. Like that's obvious incitement. That's an obvious attempt. Right? I mean, is that
I don't see the logic. I don't get it. And not that I'm, I try to be open-minded about things, but that's just weird. Yeah, I think the people in Iowa deserve a full explanation for that. And maybe there's a good reason, and they can say, okay, here. Or maybe they put it up to just show how creepy it is. Like, can you imagine families, like there's satanic families out there that actually, like, all enjoy that stuff? Like, yeah, let's get the goat skull out and the pentagrams.
There are
celebrate Lucifer. I don't understand that.
There are some, but since when do you let the some handle the? I just,
I have my issues with Catholicism and Christianity and stuff like that. Nothing major, but I mean, I just don't know how anybody can embrace Satan on the flip side. Like I'm open-minded. I love the idea of Jesus and spirituality, and I respect Christianity and I respect a lot of the major religions, but this is one I don't understand. Just dark and evil also, and blood and hideous and evil and gross.
It's also, cutting your hair into a mohawk in high school. It's about the tattoos and the piercings, and it's a way to rebel. And it's like, look, I am so anti-society. Aha! I am against society. Dreamer says concerts of all kinds are chock full of satanic symbols and rituals lately. Well, yeah, it's been going on for quite some time, actually. Let's go ahead and see what happens at the Super Bowl halftime performance. By the way, I did hear a great idea about the Super Bowl halftime performance. I was going through Twitter, X, deleting some people because I'm upside down and I want to be able to follow new accounts again. I got thousands to go. But I've begun the process trying to clear 100 per day. That takes way longer than it should. Because I do like to keep some accounts. I like to follow good accounts, but not all of them are active and whatnot. But somebody I was following suggested, he said his kid had an idea that when it comes time to do the Super Bowl performance, Rick Astley should come out and Rickroll everybody. Holy crap. I mean, that would be a 3-minute song. It's actually a really fun song. What if, like, Dave Grohl and the Foo Fighters, because they've played on stage with Rick Astley before on multiple occasions, and they cover Never Gonna Give You Up, Never Gonna Let You Down. What if you Rickrolled people in a 3-minute star-studded event and then went boom, and then, like, the real performer came out and did their set? That would be so awesome. Thoughts on that?
Right. Well, you just ruined the surprise, Brian.
Well, I'm trying to speak it into existence. Unlike,
I mean, I don't even know if a lot of people would even get that. That's the other problem. Is that I don't think you realize just how old we are now, and so people will be like, "What is that?" And all the people that are young that are watching, like, I don't get it, because there's going to be some people in the room that are going to be like, "Oh my God, can you believe what they're doing?" And then the other half is going to be like, "What is this?"
All right,
they don't understand Rick rolled. But I agree, it'd be a great troll in theory.
So funny. But I think in the explaining of it, I think that would be fun as well. Yeah, you know what? Sure. I think the singer should come out this year dressed as Klinger. That's just as timely as a MASH reference as the Rick roll. I think the Rick roll is classic. Okay,
all
next.
Right, Brian, 15 minutes. Let's hurry. All right. No, Brian, I do not think those are bullet holes. That's just rust.
You think I still think it could be some bullet holes. I appreciated you doing that close in inspection. Agree or disagree, Blake? LeBron James is a coward and a biatch for sitting during the anthem. Agree or disagree?
I'm going to say agree. Yes, definitely.
What a bad look. What a bad look.
Yeah, of many. Let's see. I'm going to pull this up real quick. Lightning round. Here is a UFC champ, Colby Covington. Yeah, Colby Covington dunking on LeBron James for shitting on America. So let's run this clip. So yes, LeBron James, he was, I'm surprised they actually medically cleared his son, Bronny, who had a heart attack on the court. And he's been brought back. So I guess he's cleared. He's playing. He was in the arena, and he was at a game, and the national anthem played. But LeBron James was sitting while everybody else is standing, looking, and sometimes maybe it's, cheesy patriotism or what have you, but you got to stand there and do it, whether you think it's, right or not. And for somebody who's completely enriched themselves and had this fabulous basketball career, and your son is there, you should show some respect. But here we go. He didn't. He sat down, and he was called out for it by Colby here, this UFC guy. Let's roll clip. Maybe. Is it going to run? Uh-oh. Perhaps it's not going to run. Damn it.
See, my question about the video, I didn't see the end of it. I saw him walk in, and I saw him sit down, and like his whole family came in, and like they're sitting to. I didn't see the end of the anthem. Like I didn't see the full video. Is it possible
if you hate America so much?
It's only 20 seconds, so here we go.
If you hate America so much and you don't like this country that gave you $1 billion, leave it or come deal with me. You go to China, go to these sweatshops that you employ all these laborers and use these women and pay them pennies on the dollar to make your millions. Fuck you, LeBron James. You're a coward. You're a spineless coward, and you're a bitch.
Mic drop.
I don't know who LeBron James is, but I think I get his point.
Yeah, no, it's all good. Heart was in the right place, so we got it.
Yeah, that's not an awesome move. I would like to see an apology or some sort of explanation. That was bad. Very bad.
Right.
Okay. Anything else on this?
Nope.
Next.
Good stuff.
I'll assume that was a stinger. All right, Blake, agree or disagree that Israelis are more likely to make a peace deal than Palestinians?
I'm going to disagree on that. Definitely. I think they want to keep this war going. Not necessarily the average rank and file Israeli person, but I think the ruling party and Netanyahu has no intention of making any deal. And I'm going to show proof of that. So let's roll this clip if I can find it. So I never know where we're going to start. But
I mean, I could understand the perspective of just being completely over it.
Yeah, so here we go. This is article IsraeliNationalNews.com. There's a couple things. First, this is just kind of a lead-up, little background here. Families of hostages are livid at Prime Minister Netanyahu. Feels like Russian roulette. So there's hostages and missing persons families. Forum headquarters criticizes Netanyahu for not approving the Mossad's chief trip to Qatar, or Qatar, or whatever you want to call it. The Hostages and Missing Persons Families Forum published a statement that included harsh criticism of Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. A statement followed a report on their news which said Netanyahu refused to send the head of the Mossad, David Barnea, to Qatar in order to renew negotiations for the release of hostages being held by Hamas. The families were shocked by the report of the rejection of the request of the head of the Mossad to drop an agreement for the release of hostages. This announcement joins the ignoring of the mother's request to meet with the prime minister and father's request to meet with the minister of defense, which have so far not been answered. So I feel like they just want to, keep the foot on the gas and keep the bombing continuing. They don't want a ceasefire. They don't want negotiations. They just want to level Gaza and sort it out later. They don't want people investigating what is going on there. I think that kind of ties into another one of the questions I had on there, Brian, which is Israelis questioning that the Hannibal Directive was used on October 7th as Army admits there was an immense amount of friendly fire that took place. So this is another huge bombshell that came out of Israeli media with the Army. Because so I guess the Hannibal Directive is where you're going to shoot your own civilians or your soldiers so that they don't get taken hostage. And so a lot of people think that there was friendly fire. We can see this scene here. From October 7th, that these cars were not, as far as I know, blown up with Hamas weaponry. There's Israeli tanks. There was.
Wait, hold on. Wait, real quick. What weaponry do we know that Hamas used? I don't know exactly what weaponry they.
Yeah, what weaponry would cars like this? Is that something that Hamas had with AK-47s and small arms fire, or is there?
Are you certain that all they used were small arms? Like, you're certain of that? I'm not certain. I don't know.
I'm not certain, but I think we would know if they weren't. This is some pretty advanced weaponry, whatever was used, whatever did this. So I don't know what it is, but we do know, and this is actually being admitted again by Haaretz. It used to be a controversial procedure. We need to talk about it now, but let me get down to this because I know we're a little short on time. But Israeli Defense Forces, this is big, finally admitted that it's killed its own people on October 7th, but now claims it would not be morally sound to investigate. So they don't want to investigate, but they are admitting, yes, that there were helicopters, there was all kinds of confusion, and there was a lot of friendly fire and a lot of people caught in the crossfire. And
that would go into the narrative, Blake, that like you're saying, in retaliation, you're being too sloppy and too much collateral damage is occurring.
Right. So there's the invasion, whatever. Hamas got over. The defenses were dropped, and it was for 9 hours. This festival goers were not warned of an attack, and they feels like they were just allowed to die. They wanted to ramp up the body count, get everybody outraged, and then they could go after their enemies.
Well, hold on. That is one theory. They could have actually been attacked and surprised and butchered. That's also something that could have happened, right?
Maybe, but there's no investigation, and they don't seem to want one, and it doesn't seem like they're already admitting right here that it would not be morally sound to investigate, and it sounds like a cover-up. Does that sound like
that's coming from who?
Well, don't you think that there should be an investigation?
Where is that coming from? That press release saying a morally unsound.
Israeli Defense Forces have admitted that there were not only was the Hannibal Directive used in place, so they could have killed their own people just to prevent them from being taken hostage, because that would be a better outcome. So I understand that, but there was an immense amount. They were admitting an immense amount of friendly fire took place. So, that's not to say that, Hamas didn't kill the majority of the people that died that day. It's just to say that, yes, there was friendly fire, and it's a lot, but they don't want to investigate it because it's not morally sound, or it could be used, against, the administration to what happened, and that they're going to be some accountability. And now we've got hostages, the families of the hostages are pissed at Netanyahu because he doesn't seem to actually want to negotiate either. But now I'm going to go to the third part of this. This is from Donald Trump himself, saying Israel does not want to make a deal with the Palestinians, but that he had a great time meeting with Palestinian Authority President Abbas. So let's roll this clip.
Key is a lasting peace. If we have a lasting peace, first thing you have to ask, do they both want to make it? I have a real question as to whether or not both sides wants to make it. I have a real question as to one side in particular, whether or not they want to make it. Well, I don't want to say that right now. I think one side actually would like a deal, and I think the other one maybe doesn't want a deal, to be honest. I don't want to say it. No, look, we show our cards too much in the I wrote The Art of the Deal. We show our cards too much. So if I get into that, I don't want to say this and that, and then they'll come and they'll say, well, Trump is biased one way or the other. I think there's a chance that you could probably make a deal if you had a real deal maker, if you had somebody that knew what he or she was doing. In my opinion, if Israel wants to make a deal, I think a deal could be made. I think a lot is going to do with Israel, and look, it's going to have to do with both sides, but a lot will have to do with Israel and whether or not Israel wants to make the deal.
I thought he wanted to make a deal more than Netanyahu. And I will be honest, I had a great meeting with him, Abbas, right? I had a great meeting with him, and we spent a lot of time together, talked about many things, and it was almost like a father. I mean, he was so nice. Couldn't have been nicer. And after meeting with Bibi for 3 minutes, I looked at him and said, you don't want to make a deal, do you? And he said, well, and the fact is, I don't think Bibi ever wanted to make a deal. Why? I thought the Palestinians were impossible, that the Israelis would do anything to make peace and a deal. I found that not to be true.
Well, what do you think?
Yeah, I saw that. That came out a few months ago, right?
I'm not exactly sure the timing, but
I've seen it a few times. Yeah, that whole damn area won't stop fighting, and I hate it.
Right. So, what do you think? Are they likely to make a deal? What do you think of Bibi there?
Oh,
I know you're saying Palestine is always rejecting deals, and
No, I'm not saying that.
They're always the bad actors, right?
Hold on, I'm not saying that.
Okay.
I think that's common knowledge. Unless you have disputing.
Well, that's your idea of common knowledge from your sources that say that's common knowledge. I don't know if that's to be true. And you don't actually know. I'm not going to say I know either. I don't know the exact details or whether it was a fair deal or not.
But I was fairly certain it was common knowledge, but
no, from your sources, and I always question your sources because you seem to be very, one-sided on this issue. I'm trying to be objective on this.
Like you're very one-sided on the issue too, so it is what it is.
Well, I question a lot of this stuff. It seems like BS.
A tug of war, I suppose. An interesting back and forth game of tennis here. So it's not just speaking in an echo chamber, I suppose. But yeah, I mean, has Trump talked about that since that video? Because that has come out, and this has been in the news for 2 months straight. Has he made any statements about that? Anything? Because that was like. That wasn't secretly recorded audio, was it? Because
I don't know any of the details. I just saw it and I was like, wow, this is newsworthy, and that ties into those stories. And I'm trying to tell you, I've been trying to tell you this for like 12 years. Yeah, this Bibi Netanyahu is a bad actor and he needs to go away. They just cannot seem to get rid of him. He's continually up there. He is flaming corrupt. He's Israeli Cheney. And here, I got another comparison for you. This could, hopefully this won't get a copyright strike. Somebody I thought of a good comparison here. So
no music.
I'll roll this clip. You recognize this?
I don't see anything. There's nothing on my screen, sir.
Nothing rolling?
Nope, nothing rolling. Roll that beautiful bean footage.
Okay.
Dead air is the best sound ever. Oh, there we go. Okay.
Okay, here we go.
Click.
There's Bibi Netanyahu right there.
Listen to me.
What?
I, Vigo, the scourge of Carpathia, the sorrow of Moldavia, command you.
Oh! Command me, Lord!
There's Brian right there, and his the righteous Gentile, and his humiliation ritual.
In the castle of pain, I sat on a throne of blood. What was will be. What is.
Does that not look and sound just like Bibi Netanyahu?
Be no more. Now
The sound
is
is
the
actually
season of
kind of
evil.
Evil.
Find me a
Find me a
child,
child
that I might live again.
Yes.
Dr. Evil?
Give me the blood of your Palestinian children that I will inhabit. There it is. There's BB.
All right, so Blake is calling on the TNAM meme team to make a meme of BB's face over this scene, please. Somebody out there has got to be able to do it. Somebody out there
Yeah.
must be able to give it to us. All right, so the ceasefire's over and they're just back at it again. That's the latest.
Yep, they're just gonna bomb the shit out of them and not negotiate. And why would they? Because if they run an investigation, they might find that BB's complicit in this, perhaps even ordered the stand down or allowed it to happen. And once they do, that'll come against him. This has been his big grab for power after the people have had enough and they're ready to oust him. Now all of a sudden he is got more power than ever. That's what happens in the wars. So Brian, I do want to share one more before I go. I've only got a few minutes here.
All
but what was the other question? What was the caption on this one?
3 of them came
We
in.
talked about this in the beginning of the show the other day. That was about
the university students. Yeah.
Yeah. Where is it? Is it on here? I don't think I saw it.
The government should police universities for anti-Semitism. Agree or disagree?
Yeah, so I am going to disagree. And remember, I was saying, is this really happening? Is this that bad? Because it just seems like they're exaggerating this, and I don't know why they brought all those heads of these universities up to grill them in Congress. And you said they weren't like showing remorse. And I'm kind of wondering, maybe it was like they're making a mountain out of a molehill, and there is some awful stuff that needs to be, where they maybe need to intervene or do something and protect, Jewish students. I don't know if it's anywhere near as bad as like what you hear about on Fox News. So I do want to run this quick clip here from Gerald Salente.
Before you hit play, it's just they were asked very point blank, super easy questions, yes or no. And I mean, the way they danced around it, the way that they protected all of that, and the way that the middle lady was smirking about it. And, if they do the thing that they're saying, if they do genocide. So if they do genocide, okay, so that's it was very telling. And since they looked into these people,
but were they actually calling for genocide? That's one of the questions I was asking. Are there actually people on record saying, yes, we want to exterminate Jews? But if somebody says, hey, from the river to the sea, people deserve to be free, is that what they actually intend to mean? That means.
You think that's a benign phrase?
Extermination.
You know what that means.
Well, no, I don't. And I don't think a lot of those students do. That's what my point was. I don't think they do. They're not like secretly wink, wink. What that really means is we just want to put, Jews on trains and gas them to death. No, I don't think so.
It's pretty obvious you want to drum the snakes into the sea. Like
people are outraged that there's a genocide taking place, and they're understandably upset. And they're standing
the one that Hamas
did
on Israelis. The one that Hamas did on Israelis. You're talking the opposite. Because I mean,
that was an awful attack, and what you're seeing right now is absolutely extermination. Yes, the indiscriminate carpet bombing of thousands of innocent people, including thousands.
As I said last time, there is discrimination. They're not using the nuclear option. They're not just leveling it into a glass.
Well, he wants the Samson option. If we left Mark Levin in charge, he would absolutely do the Samson option.
There is discrimination happening. They are choosing military targets. They're not just closing.
No, they're
their
not.
eyes.
What military target? They blow up hospitals and they say that those are Hamas headquarters. I don't call that a military target. They do, and they expect you to go along with it. And
they're making decisions on what to do. They could press one button and light the whole thing and make it glow. That hasn't happened. So
not yet, but it's on the table, right? So
you're painting with a very wide brush, and it's kind of blurring into the other colors here. So
I know, because you got to stand up for your daddy Israel. You want to kiss baby's ring, right? So let's take a look at let's hear Judge Napolitano and Gerald Salente. Let's get their point of view on with these universities, this controversy. Oh,
The whole purpose of the First Amendment is to keep the government out of the business of speech. So what business does the Congress have subpoenaing college presidents saying you didn't protect certain groups of your students from harmful speech? You don't deserve to be a college president.
It is a context-dependent decision, Congresswoman.
It's a context-dependent decision. That's your testimony today, calling for the genocide of Jews.
Is anybody calling for the genocide of Jews? That's bullshit. And that's just, it's like a grandstanding. This is so ridiculous.
Is depending upon the context.
The Congress has
you really don't think that they want to exterminate that little
You think that lady up there? Do you think these college universities want to exterminate Jews? Seriously,
I mean,
Brian,
it's obvious that Hamas wants that. It's obvious they want that.
Maybe Hamas
You're
wants
saying that it's not obvious. That's
Hamas wants that. But you think these university heads want extermination? You think that they're on board with that? Like,
they're allowing a lot of disgusting stuff at their campuses, which is why they're being held to account.
What are they allowing? What is happening on campuses that is so obscene and so above and beyond?
No, I mean, I think she's saying they're calling for the extermination of a race, but go ahead.
They're not. Okay.
Say about speech. We're not talking about speech at West Point, which the government owns. That's a different story. We're talking about speech on a private university campus, and Congress is berating college presidents because they were silent in the face of speech that Congress hates. What speech does Congress hate? Well, I'll give you a guess. The House of Representatives voted 416-1 to condemn anti-Semitism without defining what the heck it meant. So if you say on a college campus today, stop the slaughter of Palestinians, the Congress wants you to provide a forum for the slaughter to be defended. And if you don't, they will call you before Congress and berate you. That's the depth to which we have sunk today. That is the rejection of their oath to preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution by 416-1. The one is Congressman Thomas Massey, of course. He's the personification of courage.
Yeah, I would agree. They're bought and paid for. They have way too much power and influence over Congress. And yes, that was just a big shit show. And I completely agree. It's been exaggerated as far as I can tell. And they have no business getting involved in there.
Well, on our way out the door, you're being asked, Blake, we have a request from the group.
Yeah.
Dreamer is asking Blake to give us a good Mark Levin impression today. So give the counterpoint to Gerald Celente as Mark Levin as we wrap today's show up, Blake. As Mark Levin, this is Blake Walley, Blake the Eccentric. Find him at TV's Blake Walley on Twitter X and at The Next Level News. Blake, as Mark Levin. Okay, so Mr. Levin, you heard right there Judge Napolitano saying Thomas Massey's the only one with courage and all the others are just out of control on campus. What do you think?
No, I think they should use the Samson option and that you're not a righteous Gentile. I don't know.
Was that okay, Dreamer?
No, it's not good. I'm sorry. I'm in too much of a hurry, but
well, maybe we'll
do
the
angry Levin. I got to encapsulate the angry Levin. Yeah, unhinged rant urging Israel should be using the Samson option. Fire off their nukes and initiate a global nuclear holocaust if their existence is threatened. All right, sorry.
I think we should do a reoccurring segment here where Blake, as Mark Levin, comments on the ongoing strife in the Middle East. I love it. Thank you, Dreamer. I appreciate that. He's clapping from the comment section. So.
Yay. All right.
Excellent. Okay, well, Blake, final words on your way out the door, sir.
I do not. Thank you so much, everybody. It's great to have you guys. And I look forward to doing the next show next Tuesday. And we'll be here. Until then, take care. Have a great weekend. Love you guys. I'm out.
See you, Blake. Thank you so much. Yes, so make sure you follow Blake in all the places that I just told you. And also do us a favor at the New American Media. Go to Spotify and subscribe to our podcast. It's called The Agree to Disagree Show. Go on Rumble and subscribe to our channel and like some content. Let some of our content play for a couple hours. It all helps. It all helps. It's monetized. So if you let Rumble play, it's just search The New American Media. On Telegram, it's TNAM for The New American Media. TNAM and TNAM Chat. On X, We are at American_media_. On Facebook, it's TNAMS, TNAM''S, the Agree to Disagree Show. On Instagram, I guess we might be able to stream, so I'm going to try to stream next time on Instagram, but it's The New American Media. We have over 1,300 videos and, I don't know, hundreds of thousands, more than 1 million views. I don't know how many views, but on YouTube channel, youtube.com/The New American Media. And then we're on Signal as well. I think we're TNAM in TNAM chat, TNAM official. I don't know. So just search for TNAM, the Agree to Disagree Show, and The New American Media in all the places, please. Yes, Dreamer, I hope you appreciated that Blake Walley, Mark Levin segment. We'll see if we can bring him back in a reoccurring form for you. So, yes, we will be covering the news in all of those places I just told you. In between, definitely X, definitely the Agree to Disagree Show on Facebook. In that private group, we cover the news all in between our 2 weekly shows on Tuesday and Thursday here. So everybody, I appreciate you. I love you. Have a great weekend, and I'll talk to you again soon. Take care. Peace.